Welcome to Random Product Critic, a channel about critiquing anything that can be bought.
Hi all, welcome to another episode for Random Product Critic. Today I'm going to go over some different types of styluses for different devices, mostly because I spent a lot of time researching one that would work on my Lenovo ThinkPad, and turns out there's not that many that actually work on it. So we'll look at a few of these different styluses. Obviously there's going to be different types because you have different types of devices like iPads, phablets, laptops, tablets, things like that. So we'll look at some different types and see how they're different. So kind of the first thing that I wanted to start with was the typical ones that everyone's seen before. So this one, let me focus here. There we go. So this one's really small. You can see it's really thin and whatnot. This is the typical type of stylus that you'll get for basic tablet or phone use. These ones are capacitive styluses that rely on a material that's capacitive, and when you touch the screen, it's supposed to simulate working as a finger. So there's different types of these. Most of them just use this black material or like a felt material. However, there are some like the Adonis Jot pens that use a plastic disc on the end, and they're supposed to simulate a little more precise implementation of these capacitive styluses. So I had one of those and I didn't like it very much because it was a plastic end. These ones are a little bit smoother to use. However, they're still not super accurate just because of the nature of they're acting like a finger. Apple really didn't like styluses because they didn't see a need for them. Obviously, people like them now because they're starting to come out with them. But those are a different type of stylus, whereas these generic ones are essentially just using a finger, just a little bit smaller edge. So you can see there is a thickness there versus a regular pen or something that will have a much smaller tip. So this is a capacitive type of stylus. Then there are active type of styluses. So this is one for the Wacom tablets, for the Cintiq, Intuos, and a few other ones. These ones are powered by battery. You can get ones like this on iPad and whatnot, and they're basically controlled by Bluetooth. So it's got technology where it can detect where it is on the screen, but it's powered by battery and Bluetooth, so you have to have it constantly connected. Actually, I think this one's not a Bluetooth one, but it works similarly. I did order a Bluetooth one that was basically identical to this, and it worked on the iPad. So these ones are, when they are Bluetooth powered, you get some extra functionality like multiple buttons on the thing that can serve a purpose. Some of them have erasers that actually work on the tablet or device, and then you have a much finer tip on the pen. So let me hold that up to my hand so you can see it a little bit better. So these ones are obviously much more pen feel. Like they're more comfortable, they're bigger, and they're much more accurate. They feel like you're actually writing with a pen. There are even some solutions that have a pen integrated into the tip, so you can just put a piece of paper on your device and then draw on it, and it'll capture it on the device as well. So those are kind of like active ones that have to be battery powered. This specific one is not, but there's ones very similar that are that work mostly on iPad. Let me put that back in the box here. The trouble with this is there are different technologies, and every time a new device is released, you get different types of pens that aren't compatible with each other. So the last type was one that I had to look around quite a bit for, to work with my Lenovo laptop. So these Bamboo Stylus FEELs, and there's a handful of other ones, even though a handful is quite small, that will work on multiple devices with a certain technology. And these ones are active digitizer pens, so they don't require any batteries. They don't require Bluetooth. They basically just go off the matching hardware on the laptop or device. So the Surface Pro 1 and 2 uses all the same technology. The Surface Pro 3 and 4 uses a different technology, but it uses the same concept. You can see this pen right here is for the Galaxy Note, so it uses that same technology. And there's a handful of different ones. So this is the Stylus FEEL, regular black version, and there's also a carbon version, little heavier feel, has your button right there. These ones are much more accurate because they're specific hardware. So different ones will have higher pressure sensitivities. They might have, those extra buttons on there. Let me pull out another one here that I like. So this one right here, this Motion Digitizer Pen, this one actually has a nice grip on it and an eraser. And they come in a lot of different shapes and sizes, but you have to be really careful because there are those 3 different types of technologies. So if I kind of show you these again, so you've got the ones that are more like Bluetooth, similar to this one. You've got your active digitizer ones that don't require battery or Bluetooth, but they're for specific firmware. And then you've got your capacitive ones. It's basically just like a finger on a touch screen. So the advantages and disadvantages to each one is, sensitivity is going to vary. So, ones like this capacitive one are going to be they'll be sensitive as your finger, but they're not going to be very accurate. Whereas something like the Bluetooth ones or these active ones, they're going to be very sensitive. Some of them have, thousands of levels of sensitivity applied. So even just if you were to simulate on Photoshop a brush, you can press really lightly and it'll give you a really light brush stroke. Press hard and it'll give you a heavier one. The eraser will work on some of them. So there's a lot of cool features on these ones that you just can't get with the capacitive type of stylus. My favorite 2 so far that I've tried, and I've tried probably about 20 different ones by now, is this Bamboo Stylus FEEL carbon version, mostly because it's heavy. It has a pretty solid button here, so it feels premium, and it does have a cap on it, which is very unique for these type of pens. My other favorite one is the one that I brought out for that motion computing. So if I can get it back open here, I can show you what that one looks like. So I like this one. It feels better, but it's a little bit lighter. So it feels more like a natural pen. It does have an eraser right here, and the grip is actually a good grip with a solid button. The only thing I don't like is it's not as sensitive. Like, you do have to press down a little bit for it to work, and it feels a little bit flimsier. It's not very heavy. If I stop talking here and shake it, you can actually hear moving parts inside. Hopefully you can hear that anyway. So, ups and downs to all these different pens. There's a small handful that actually work for these active digitizers that are compatible with the Surface Pro 1 and 2, and also devices like ThinkPads and whatnot. So this one is for a laptop T5000 and Surface Pro 2. It's just a smaller type, very similar to the default one you get with a Surface. There's a handful of devices, if you can find styluses for them, such as that Galaxy Note. It should work on basically any tablet that has that same technology, the same Wacom feel. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but if you see Wacom FEEL, there's a good chance the stylus is going to work for it if it's not powered by Bluetooth or battery. And then there's some rare ones by Wacom that start with the model number UP. If you can find one that starts with UP, it's going to work, but they're much harder to find. This one, when I ordered it, there's only 2 left in stock from the seller. So they're a little bit tougher. So you can see this one right here. It's like a white pen. It feels a little bit flimsier to me on the buttons, but it feels pretty good in hand. What's cool about this one is it has a stand that you can just set it for, like, you know, when you're done doing your artwork or whatever. So this one is more for if you're at a standing desk or something doing artwork, whereas the other ones are maybe a little bit more portable than this one. So those are the different types of pens. Hope that helps when you're looking for them. So let me just do one final show through on a couple of these different ones, just as a reminder. So you've got your capacitive type. It's basically just like a finger. That will work on any device that has finger input. You'll have your active digitizer that is very hardware specific. These ones don't require battery or Bluetooth. They do have functionality, but they do require that the device has the same technology. So you'll have to research that quite a bit to figure out what type of technology you have to pick those. iPads are going to be the Bluetooth type, but there's so many options for iPads that it's not really a problem. It's more when you have specific things like my Lenovo laptop that require a specific type of pen. And then this one, even though it's not actually a Bluetooth version, it is similar to an identical one that has a Bluetooth version. So we took a look at that one earlier. So hope that helps, and thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching. If you liked our video, please subscribe. Don't forget to thumbs up the video as well as share with others that may find this video interesting. If you'd like to make a request, click the link below in the description, and also feel free to take a look at some of our other random product videos.